Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I bring you a very unique replay. I've been doing World of Tanks console or World of Tanks Modern Armor videos on YouTube seriously since November 2019, and I say seriously because prior to that date I do have uploads. If you organise my videos from oldest to newest, there's a whole bunch of early stuff on there that's just random clips and random replays, just stuff that's just, my channel was just a bit of a dumping ground for things that I thought were cool or interesting, and there's some work related things in there as well from years ago. But I started getting serious with World of Tanks console November of 2019, so we've been here a while. But in that time, before update 6.0, before Cold War was even a thing, I had never played a tank more than 1,000 times, because for me, just as the player that I am, I tend to get bored of something quite quickly. Short attention span, I suppose. And I need something to be uniquely challenging for me to stay interested. And the FV107, whether you love it, hate it, or don't have an opinion on it at all, it's one of those tanks that for me, it suits my play style. It suits what I like to do. It suits how I like to play video games, and this tank has clearly gelled with me quite well. I've played over 1,000 games in it at this point, and this game you're seeing here is the 1,000th game. Now, the history of the 107 is a bit mixed. People these days, I hear people say that it's, you know, the toxic tank of Era 1. Which I can understand. I can understand that point of view for Era 1. If in the context of Era 1, yes, I can understand that point of view. For me, though, I've enjoyed playing this tank because it presents a series of challenges when playing it. Yes, the pop-up gun can be annoying, but this thing can be played against. It doesn't have to beat you every time. And for me, as the player of the 107, I find myself having to think very carefully about who I do attack, and more importantly, about who I don't attack. There are certain tanks in Era 1 that the 107 will really struggle against. I was able to take on the side of a T-34, that's pretty standard, but the side of an IS-4, no chance. The only way a 107 can really take on an IS-4 is for the IS-4 to be distracted, facing the other way, not paying attention to the 107, and the 107 has the time and space to shoot it in the rear lower plate. And the fact that there are tanks in Era 1 that this thing can't deal with, for me, is almost like a... It's a feature that balances this vehicle. And say hello to Russ. Meow. Bye. There you go, Russ features in my 1,000th game. How about that? I didn't realise he was playing at the time of this game. I drove past him and I thought, hey, he's on. Alright, I'll platoon with him later. But at this point, yeah, we weren't platooned. He's on the enemy team. But the 107, yeah, this tank is one that it's got a mixed reception. And from Wargaming's point of view, the original 107, I believe, again, I'm doing this from memory, I believe the alpha on this is now 40 alpha per shot. When it was first released, when Cold War was first released into the game, the 107 had an alpha of 25, I believe. So this thing got buffed, but I 3-marked this before the buff. So I 3-marked this when we only had 25 alpha per shot. And that was tough. This tank was hard work to 3-mark. It really, really was. Then it got buffed, and I'm pretty sure, well, the fact that people think this thing needs a nerf tells you how it's perceived by the community. I don't think this vehicle is as bad as some people would make it out to be. I'll agree that it can be annoying, but I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be. But Wargaming did buff it. But Wargaming buffing things isn't really indicative of how the community views a particular vehicle. For example, I believe they've just nerfed the Manticore, and I was talking to Eclipse about this the other day. apparently the Manticore never needed a nerf. It needed a buff. The community, anyone who played it thought this thing needs some love, but instead Wargaming have hit it with the nerf hammer. So again, Wargaming taking action on certain tanks doesn't really represent how the community feels about particular vehicles. They do what they want as and when they want, so hey, it is what it is. But this vehicle has been, it's been fun to play for me. I've had to really think carefully about how I play this tank. Saying hello to Russ again, trying to, here we go, get around the back of him. But this tank this is probably the first tank that people will see, play against, or play where the RBRT playstyle is really quite noticeable. And I mean, you're seeing me do it in this game. And the conversation about RBRT, that is, I think that whole conversation needs a bit more attention. So I'm not going to talk about it here. This game's just ended, so we don't really have time to talk about it. But I thought it would just be interesting to go over my 1000th game in the FV107 and just talk a little bit about why I've played so many games in it, its history, how it's perceived in game. But what I do want to do is I want to do a further couple of videos featuring this tank where we'll talk about things like RBRT, auto lock, auto aim, stuff like that. But for now, shout out to Chicken 19 Nugget down there, 14th in the Char 40T. You must have gotten smacked at the very start. That's unfortunate. But anyway, shout out to you. So yeah, I just wanted to do this video quickly just to showcase the 1000th game in the 107, talk about it a little bit, and share it with you guys. So look forward to some more videos featuring the 107 where I'll talk about auto lock and auto aim. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But for now, that's all I've got for this video, guys. So if you've enjoyed it, please leave it a like. If not, a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next one.